Is it? Back there. There we go. There we go. All right. So the first thing I want to do is get this work committed and up on GitHub. Okay. Yeah. Basics, sure, right? And then git. So this is you don't have this unless you've got hub set up the same way. So you say hub create, but it lets me create the GitHub repo from the command line. But normally this isn't a feature of GitHub. But the repo is Suncoast devs gift grades. Gift grades are great gifts. Great gifts, huh? But gift grades are great gifts. Gift grades. Gift grades. Gift grades. Let's stick with it. All right. So we're up in GitHub now. Let's add an API. Well, let's add a couple more images. Let's add at least an image for each type of grade. And then maybe a couple in one category so you can tell if our randomness is working. Yeah. So I figured out how to get the GIF from Giphy. So we'll just use Giphy search here for a few. About another sad one for like gotta have one that's inappropriate. That's appropriate. It's not too mean, right?
Yeah.
Maybe too mean. How not sad? How about okay. Oh, that one right there. We're just gonna do this one. Copy link. All right. So here's the GIF link, and then what I can do here is I just say let's go to our desktop. Say curl dash oh that. It downloads the GIF. Whoa, 16.5 megabytes. Jeez. And then up here, underscore 0. We'll go ahead and choose that one. There it is. Get the tiny version yet? There it is. Nice. The thumbnail took a second to generate, but okay. So we got 0. We need one for 2. So 2 is like what were they? First thing I need to do is transfer this. This is the key.
Use the key to get in. Oh, I have seen. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost created one.
Okay, cool. So that I got that out of the way. Oh, that's what we were doing. Because devs, gradebook now. Gradebook, models. This is the assignment. So 2 is acceptable. I know what we're gonna do. Oh man, no, I want, you know which one I want. Where's the one with the beard? Why can't I find the one of him with the beard? Is that not a GIF? Is it just a picture? Obama that
I've
not
never seen
bad.
it.
No.
I could go on Michelle like this and just like, not bad.
Oh, it's just a picture. Okay.
I got it.
All right. So, all right. We'll just do not bad.
Okay.
This is a good one. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So copy link, GIF link. Well, pretty soon we're gonna get the URL uploader working, right? So we can just paste in a URL and import it in.
So what is curl?
Curl is a command that you can say give it a URL, and it'll go do a request to that URL basically, and then print the output. -O says take this thing and just save it as a file.
Oh.
So if I just did curl that, it just literally just prints the GIF binary crap to my console, which is totally useless, right?
Yeah.
So -O just redirects that into a file. Normally, though, you would use curl. Say, let's say I do the local host 3000. There's the home page of there's our app, which is the home page, right? You can see here, this is all the rails, all the dang style sheets and stuff. It injects automatically. But anyway, so then we got that. Cool. Okay. So now we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get a couple more ones for the good grades. So dance. These are the ones we already. Oh, there you go. There's a good one. Copy link. Control dash. Here. Say new. Nice. This is going to be for a 3. There it is. Okay, so what's that I was doing? Oh, we're going to make the API so that when we ask for one of these, we get a JSON response right? Now we could just do this. This is built into the Rails scaffold, but that's not what I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
This, in fact, doesn't even have anything about the image in it, right? This is not even close to what I want at all. What I want is separate API. So what we're going to do is make a couple ways to go about this, but I'm just going to make an API controller, right? So I'm going to do this manually. API controller .rb. I'm just going to copy this here, API controller. Call this the API controller. Okay. And here, now we'll say render JSON, render JSON. We'll just get an object, and I'll say, okay, true. We just want to get this to work, right? So if we go localhost / API, I want to see, okay, true. Because really, actually, let's not call it API. Let's call it the GIFs controller. And it'll be GIFs controller. This will be the GIFs controller. What I want to do is I just want to say GIFs. And then you put like /0, /1, /2, /3, and you'll get one of those, right? So the route is going to look like this. So we're going to route get GIFs, and then as a placeholder, the score to GIFs controller /index, pound index. So now if I go to /GIFs, fine, cool. So we matched that, right? So what if instead we returned the param score? There we go. So look at that. Now whatever we put up here. Cool. So let's get
What is score?
What is it, score?
Score. So this right here, that one, because I said :score here, whatever I have at that part of the URL, it's going to be available in my params.
Gotcha.
Like I can put the whole params here so you can see what params is. Controller GIFs, action index, score 1. So I'm just accessing the score. So what we really want to do now is say veneration find or first. If we just say veneration.first, veneration is veneration.first. And what do we want to respond with here? We want,
What's the veneration again?
that's what we call the model for the images.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I just said veneration.caption. So returning an object, let's add that. Captions lol for the first one, right? We keep refreshing. We only always get the first one. They said just give me the first one, right? But what I really want to do is specify a where. It's where the score is params score. Let's stick with first for now, right? I'll try again. What if we set it to 2? Not bad, right? Screen. So we're getting the caption, but we also want the image, remember? So we called it image in our model, veneration.image. And then, whoa, what is that? Name, look at that. This whole thing, right?
Oh, sure.
That's a JSON version of the file attachment itself. That's not really what we wanted. So what you can do is, I think it's URL for that. And then this is the helper method that Rails has that'll figure out. There it is. So there is the URL to the image. There it is. Right? So now we're returning the caption and the image. That's all we need, right? That's it. So which category was it that had multiples in the same category? 3. So right now we're just getting the first one, right? But we're never, if we keep refreshing, we're never going to see Neil Patrick Harris instead, right? With our GIFs, it's always Gavin. So instead of getting the first one, you know, we need a random one, right? So you could do a quick Google here, Rails order random. What's the Rails 4 way of finding some things? Oh, look at that. For Postgres and SQLite, just order random. Yay!
So,
Yeah. So.
and that was good.
No, because we're querying the database. Yeah. Well, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. That's a random element out of an array. This is not an array. We're querying database. What we want to do is we want to sort by random and then return the first one. Right? That's what this query. So what this is going to do, if we'll actually see the SQL here in the logs. But before, let's go down to the end here. Before, we're saying select from venerations where the score is that parameter, and then order by ID, and then limit here is 1. See, $2 is this one, and $1 is 3. So where the score is 3, limit 1. So that's what first does, is say limit 1. So this is the SQL that we know how SQL works, but because we're using the models in Rails, remember it writes the SQL for us. So this is the SQL that got written by that. Now what I've done here is specified a string. This string is actually going to go right into the SQL query for the order clause. So it's going to say order by, and then it's going to put whatever I write here. So we're going to order by random, and then we want the first one. So let's reload it. Let's see what the SQL query changed to. Here it is. Select venerations.star from venerations. That's the same thing as just saying select star. Where score is, and then 3, and limit is 1, but look, order by random. So if we refresh here a few times, oh, there we go. I keep refreshing, we see it switches back and forth. So now we've got an API, right? Sweet, sweet, sweet. At this point, man, we could just get this deployed, get it online, get some real production data going, right? We'd have to re-upload, and so we have a couple options. We could transfer our database to production, but really we've only got like 5 records in it. It's really not worth going through all that hassle. It'd be easier just to recreate them all. I kind of want to do the authentication using OAuth first.
Okay.
So that we can do like GitHub-based logins. I want to do that before.
So OAuth is a service that provides.
OAuth is a technology that it's a set of standards that allows you to use an OAuth provider to authenticate to another website. Hard to explain.
What is OA?
Yeah, OAuth, one word, OAUTH. So a lot of websites, a lot of big websites act as OAuth providers. Google, Facebook, GitHub, Twitter, all of these. They act as an OAuth provider, and then you can build an application that registers itself with that provider, and then users of that provider can now use their account on that provider's website to authenticate into your app. It's real easy to set up with Rails. There's a couple Rails plugins for it that make it pretty trivial. And I'll show you how to set those up. In fact, we might as well go ahead and do that now. And we'll scrap our basic user login stuff. I think we can actually get the user's name now, so we'll save their name field.
Is OAuth same one that would take text, like generate a?
No, so that's a third-party service. Because like with the text, you'd have to, if you were building it out yourself, you'd have to have all kinds of stuff. Because you have to integrate in with the phone stuff, do the SMS, all of that stuff.
Okay.
But there's a third-party service called Auth0 that is really easy to set up, and then that would do that.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Easy set.
You want this tape on button?
So let's commit the API. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of blast through setting up OAuth real fast. And I'm going to use another project that I've worked on recently as a reference.
$7,000 free active users for $0.
Oh, I've been updating now. All right. So we're going to do OmniAuth GitHub. So I think GitHub's probably the way to go for students to log into this
Absolutely. We all have to have that GitHub day
Yeah.
one. No, day zero.
Yeah.
We have to have a GitHub before we get here.
So before I start adding too many more dependencies to this gem file, Rails has a lot of comments in here and stuff like that. I like to usually just kind of strip this file clean in a new project. I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's been bugging me a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and take decrypt out because we're gonna get rid of the username password stuff that our users have right now. That's fine. We'll keep that. Guess we can keep this stuff. I'll probably strip it out at some point. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. And I'm not planning on having any people on Windows running the app from Windows, so I'm gonna get rid of that because that's kind of annoying to have that in there. You get these warnings about it every time you install. So now let's add OmniAuth. That's restricted for that. I've added these two gems here, OmniAuth and OmniAuth Google. We're going to use GitHub. Actually, GitHub. Add these two gems to the gem file there. And go and say bundle install. And it's going to go get them. There we go. There's that one. The other one I already had installed on my computer, so it doesn't show it in green. There it is right there. So that's installed now. Now what we can do is in my config, in the initializers, I set up this authentication. So config, initializers, application.id. So this configures OmniAuth, and it says use developer unless we're in production mode. Otherwise, the provider, and here it says Google OAuth 2. We're going to switch this to GitHub. Let me go back and look at the OmniAuth. Provider. We don't need access to their repos and gist. We just want the user, right? So GitHub, we change this to GitHub. We use, so they're saying here, right, these environment variables, we're going to end up using there's a couple number of ways I can go about this. I haven't shown you all credentials yet. We'll do it. We'll use credentials here. That's fine. And then for this instead, it's going to be just like the example here, scope. And then we're just going to put user. So right here it says user repo gist. This is when you click on the thing like log in with GitHub and it takes you to the GitHub page and it's like such and such wants access to your repo. You know what I mean? And then it lists all the different things that the app will have access to. This is where you can specify what you want your app to have access to. In this case, I don't care about anything other than just getting information about the user, right? So we're just going to leave it as user. You can see here more info on scopes, and it'll take you over here. It'll list the different things and the different effects and all this stuff. So, but we're not worried about that. We just want to have this, okay? And let's see what's next. So for our routes, we have the sessions controller, post, feet. I think we're going to be able to get rid of the login form entirely. Let's take a look at how I set it up in this other app. Big routes. This is it right here. I had sign in, sign out. Oh, an auth failure. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. Let me copy this whole block here. So if somebody goes to get/sign-in, it's going to redirect them to /auth and then either GitHub or developer. So in development mode, it'll be /developer. In production, it'll redirect to /auth/GitHub. This path is provided by OmniAuth when we install that gem, right? Or this controller that goes to. So we just say, hey, redirect over to that other thing. If they click sign out, that's our session destroy path, right? That's just like we had before, except I think we had it as a delete request to /sessions, but this works too. You just go to /sign out, it'll sign you out. If there's an authentication failure, we just put them back to and then we're going to say, instead of saying get here, we're going to match gets or posts to the auth provider callback to session : create. This is this auth / that's a thing that OAuth provides to us. So just kind of, you can read through the documentation and they tell you that you got to set this stuff up. But we're still going to have the sessions controller with create and destroy, but they're going to look a little different. Let's go take a look at what I did in this app here for sessions controller. Okay, that looks really familiar. User ID equals nil, redirect to root. What did we put for destroy in our app? Sessions controller. User ID equals nil, redirect to root, right? Same thing, except I put colon root. Here we put root path. You know what would be a better idea is when they log in to redirect them to the venerations path. That's the list of all the images,
Okay.
right? So there, so this is going to look a little bit different. User from auth hash, and then we pass the omniauth. This is the stuff that comes back from omniauth because it's going to redirect us to GitHub. It's going to redirect us back to our app, and omniauth is going to handle all those redirects. And when if GitHub tells us like yes you authenticated or you didn't, omniauth's going to handle all of that. And we're going to get the details back in this big hash, right? This object, whatever you want to call it. And this is where we get access to that. And then I'm going to say user from auth hash. I'm going to say if we got a user back, here's where we save their user ID, just like we did before. And then we redirect to, in our case, venerations. Otherwise, redirect back to the home page, right? So let's copy that. You see this here? Remember that error that we had with the we first tried to submit the form and it was like invalid authenticity token. This turns that off for the create action. So that because what's going to happen is when this posts back from the other URL, like that authenticity token is not going to be there anymore. Before we had it there because we had our own login form and we could put that little crap in there that Rails needs. We're not going to have that option anymore. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to copy both of these. We're going to delete all those views for the login that we had before. We're not going to need them. So here, we're not going to have this sessions new. And this is not going to be post/sessions anymore. This is not going to be delete for that. So before we were doing this, we were finding the user by their email address, and we were seeing if their password matched. And then we redirected them back to the venerations path. We'll do root path here, there. I was calling it sessions user.id. But basically, now we can get rid of all this. We don't need to do all that anymore at all. Real simple. Beautiful. Love it. Now this user from auth hash thing, right? But before we had secure password. We don't need that anymore, right? Because we don't have what do you call it? Yeah, we're not doing the passwords, user passwords anymore. What we are doing though is user from hash. Okay. Go. Let's paste this method in and look at it. So self dot. It says if we just said def this, that means we call that method on an instance of a user, right? But I want this method to be on the class itself because I'm saying user, the class name user dot from auth hash, because I'm trying to get an instance of a user. I don't have an instance of a user yet, right? So that's what the self dot means. That's so that I can say this user, the name of the class dot from auth hash, as opposed to at user dot from auth hash, which wouldn't make sense. But that's if you left that self dot off, that's what that would be. So we don't want to do this. This other app. It's kicking out anybody who doesn't have a suncoast.io, right? So we're gonna check that. It's going to say like this, where UID, that's a unique ID that GitHub is going to give us back. So where the unique ID, where UID is, and then this is the UID from GitHub, first or initialize. So first or initialize is a Rails method that's first going to go try to find a user with that ID. If it doesn't find one, it's going to initialize a new one, right? And then tap says, okay, when you found that one, give me a block, and here's that user in that block. So now in this block, we can write some code with that user. This is the equivalent, really, of saying user equals, and then down here, we get rid of this, and then do all of this. If you said, like, if user, right? That's what a dot tap is the equivalent of doing. With some people, this reads better. I actually don't think I need that line there. I think that happens automatically from that. So now we're saying get their name and get their email address and then save it, right? Did we ever take the name out of the schema? Users? No, we didn't. Good. So let's Rails, oops. Rails G migration. Add, actually, trying to think how, do we want to cheat and just go back and edit the original migration, or we want to add a new migration that adds the user ID? Because we haven't deployed this into production yet, so it doesn't matter. Keep the code clean and just kind of edit the old migration.
Sure.
Cool. So what we will have to do, though, is drop the data that we have in the database. We already have these wonderful images. Let me go save copies of them real fast. Or we drop it all. Oops. Oh yeah, we're in a broken state here with our code. Let's get rid of that. There's no more session. Oh, that's what it is here. The layout. It's form tag. Oh, it's a login form. We're not going to have the login form anymore, right? We'll just get rid of that. This is going to be to, it's called the logout tab. Let's go download all these. Love that. Oh, well, I don't need to download that one. I got it on my desktop already. Images. Bad. We'll call it not bad. If images. Nope.gif. Images. Whoa.gif. Images. David.gif. David Kenner. Dr. Who. Didn't know. Images. GF. All right, cool. So we got those backed up. Right? Because we're about to drop the whole database, yeah. So yeah, we don't need to do that. Okay. So let's get here. DB, migrate, create users. So there's going to be a t.string name, a t.string oh, I guess we did get rid of it, didn't we? And we don't need this anymore. Just a unique ID, the name, and email address. Because we don't care about where our passwords are out. We're done with passwords in the set. Reg db :migrate. Wait, reg db :drop. But first we have to kill that. There we go. Now we'll do reg db create. which will actually create the databases again. And we'll do a rakedb migrate. There we go. We've got our users and all that stuff. Now if we reload, let's get our process. Start our app back up. Oh boy, logout path, right? Okay, let's do this. It's not logout path, it's sign out path. All this here. Sign. Oh, it's a sign in path. Sign in path. Sign in. Sign out. The name. Oh, we have a name, right? So we have a link to the sign in. I think that generations controller, there's a redirect if they, our application controller, we redirect to the sessions path. We're actually going to redirect to the group path and say, please authenticate first, right? If they try to do something that they're not allowed to do. So let's go here, like to venerations, kick them back to the home page. Please authenticate first, because there's no login form. Before we were redirecting a login form, or there's no login form now. Actually, I guess we could redirect them to the sign-in path, and it would just trigger a login. That makes more sense. Do that, but we don't need the notice anymore if we do that, because we can't. We're literally kicking them to GitHub if they try to do something.
Oh, redirect them back over there to GitHub?
Yeah, for the logins, because that's what's going to happen if you go to the sign-in path, which I haven't shown you yet. So if I click, so if we try to go this here, venerations, we try to make a new one. Now, this is new. We haven't seen this before, right? This little login screen. Remember here, just a moment ago, when we set this up, we said use developer unless Rails environment is production, and then it's provider GitHub. So if we're in development mode or test mode in our app, which is running locally, it's in development mode. If we try to sign in, it's going to use, instead of having to configure an app with GitHub to deploy it, like a real production app, it's going to do its own little like fake login screen and then redirect us back. Everything else is going to work just like it had come from GitHub or Google or whatever, but it's going to be generic. So but only in production will we actually redirect to GitHub.
Right.
So that's what, so we click here, it kicks us over here to this screen, and I'm going to type in my name, I'm going to type in my email address, and I'm going to sign in, and look, there's my name, I'm signed in. In production, it's going to kick us over to GitHub. We'll sign in on GitHub, and it'll kick us back to the app, but everything else is going to work the same.
So that way, so if you're trying to log in on whatever site, that gives you the option to log into Google, Facebook.
Yeah. This is exactly that. The thing is, we only configured it for GitHub, but you could configure, you can see here there's multiple providers available.
And it wouldn't matter if you logged into GitHub at the time. It's just going to go into GitHub and get you.
Well, GitHub would prompt you to log in, then you would log in, then it would kick you back to your app. Yeah. So now we can, now we can actually do all the stuff because we're signed in, and we can sign out, and then it takes us right back here. Actually, I'm gonna make the sign out. Where's the sessions controller? I'm gonna make the sign out take us back to the home page.
Yes, I think you're going to ask you a question, Jason.
I sure do.
So today we were doing the memory game in React,
Uh-huh.
and my board state was an array of objects.
Uh-huh.
And the objects had things like a picture
Uh-huh.
and whether it was flipped
Uh-huh.
or whether it was solved. And I wanted to, and then the individual board pieces knew their position in the array. So when a click happened, I wanted to like go get that element and change its object, but without any of like the fancy immutable array stuff. I was like, we're just gonna cheat and like literally change this dot state card array thing and do this dot set state, game is game.
Mm-hmm.
What is the right way of doing that without the immutable JS? Like, go find this array and make a new one with this thing.
Use a state management library.
What I showed in the end is making a new copy of the array with slice.
Yeah. Oh, you can do that. You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I explained to them like what I'm doing here is cheating.
Yeah. I forgot that you can slice,
Yeah.
and that's considered okay.
Okay.
Now, if it's an array of arrays, you're in a bit of a pickle because your slice is going to make you a new array
Right.
that's full of the same arrays.
Yeah, it's not a deep copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, what I probably should have done is
You can do
like,
deep copy from Lodash, though.
yeah. I didn't want to do any of that, and I didn't want to like restructure my data.
Mhm.
Like, just like we'll go get the card out of the array and just say card flip or card.
My implementation, I don't use the positions.
Okay.
Like the thing doesn't know what the position is. What it knows is it just does this. I just keep a list of the matched card faces.
Okay.
And it's
Because
like,
in my game,
am I in the list of things that have been matched yet?
Yes.
And that the matched list only contains like there's two of the same card, right?
Right.
But it just says like frog. Like, did I match? Is frog in the included list? Then
Yes.
then I am a frog, so I'm not going to be. I'm face up now. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't care where its position is.
Right.
It just cares like, has my pair been paired?
Right. But does you also need like another thing that shows you which cards have been turned over but not matched?
Yeah, that's the current. So you have a state that's the current turn, which either has no elements, one element, or two elements.
Yeah.
And then your render can do different things based on that.
So what I ended up doing was just changing this. So each card had a picture, whether it was flipped over and whether it was solved.
Okay.
So I could tell whether or not I had enough cards by like selecting the cards that are flipped, and then that like mine with
That works too.
more cards. Okay, cool.
It's just different ways of thinking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
state.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like what is your mental, like how do you perceive the game? And when I look at it, I don't see rows and columns of cards.
Yeah.
What I see is a list of things that have been matched and a list of what am I currently looking at, which is either no cards, one card, or two cards.
Yeah, the hard part with yours is you couldn't have like 4 donuts. Because as soon as you solve the first pair of donuts, you'd solve the other pair of donuts
Right.
as well.
Yeah, but memory doesn't have
And ours it did.
4. Okay.
And ours it did. Because eventually I just took the symbols and I like iterated 12 times, made pairs of cards, shoved them in a round, shuffled them. So you could get the same.
Oh, you could actually do that. You could it's the position. You keep the position into the list in your what cards am I looking at? That's different than what pairs have been matched.
Right.
So your what am I currently looking at would be positions into the whole list. And that could be, just instead of being 2 things long, make it 4 things long.
Yeah.
And then are all 4 things the same?
Yes.
Then add donuts to the matched list.
Yeah. I just want to reflow my like how to do that next time because I stumbled into some edge cases I didn't want to have to like bore them with.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
So here, let's log. Oh yeah, we went over this already. Yeah. So that was it. That's how you implement a loss. Like I literally just spent most of the changes here were gutting the other stuff. Really, all I added here was this this new initializer. I added those gems, the gem file, and we changed the routes and we tweaked the create and we added this method to the model. Easy peasy, right? The other stuff that we did, like this current user and stuff, well, no, we didn't have to change this at all. That worked, right? So let's commit here.
What are you doing for lunch, Jason?
I don't know.
I did not bring one today.
Oh, I do have a lunch in the fridge.
You have one? Okay.
If you're wanting to like run out, I'm open.
Yeah,
to
I was
the idea.
considering like, if I was check to see if Publix is still doing their like $5.99 any sub you want.
Oh, they're doing something until October.
Yeah,
Something till the end of the month.
yeah, I think it's like any sub, like even like the large premium subs are like $5.99. We're either gonna do that, or I'm gonna like get my car and drive somewhere quick, nearby for lunch,
Mhm.
or walk down to either Casita Taqueria or the barbecue place. So if you're interested in any of those, let me know.
I'm interested in any of those. Let me know what you want to do. I'll do it.
Okay.
I want to see some of this.
It'll be a surprise. Wait to get it into production. So,
This,
I kind of want to push this up to production now. I'm going to get this app in production. I'm going to show you all deploying to Heroku later on stream because I got to get some like GitHub keys for this authentication thing. Don't want to do that on stream because it'll show my keys in the video. So I'm going to kill the stream. Then I'm going to go deploy this into production. And next week, I'll show you guys a different app. We'll put like the board game into production or something. I'll show you that. You can watch if you want. I'll leave it hooked up to the monitor, but I'm going to just do it real quick because I'm going to get this API live.
have you seen this Guardian? It sends you a QR code.
It's probably a similar service to Auth0. There's a couple.
It is them.
Oh, is it? It's an Auth0. It's an Auth0 product.
Yeah, I just saw the video.
That's cool. Okay, so let me kill the stream.
Oh, here.